Life speaks. It speaks through struggles and success, through music and messages, the preconceived and the unexpected. Whether you are in the depths of the valley or in the midst of your mountaintop experience, everyone needs to be encouraged from time to time. You've tuned in to ALH Broadcasting, and this is Andrea L, Hines, your host for When Life Speaks. I'm glad you accepted the invitation to connect with us as we share stories of strength, testimonies of triumph, observations, and information meant to touch the heart and uplift the soul. There's something in this broadcast just for you, and if it's a blessing to your life, it just may be for someone else as well. So tag, share, invite someone, then turn down the volume of life and get ready to receive, so that when life speaks, you speak life. Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is Andrea L. Hines, and this is When Life Speaks. You've tuned in to us through ALH Broadcasting, and we welcome all of our listeners and all of our viewers, and we're glad that you are here tonight. I love it on Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. Gives you time to just turn down the volume of life a little bit and get ready to receive, because we always have something interesting. We always have something encouraging and something uplifting that will kind of end your day and get you right in a position where you're beginning to wind down your week. So that's what we've got going on right now. And I'm going to share something with you really, really quick. I want you to mark your calendar in November, because you know that we have another program that comes on ALH Broadcasting on Sunday evenings, and it is called Authors Up. And I wrote just a short novel not long ago called The Train. And we're going to do a dramatic read and adaptation of The Train in the month of November. So every show I'm on, every time I open my mouth, I'm going to be talking about the train. Get on the train so that you can enjoy the book and have a good time. And we thank you. I always thank you for being here. I thank you for being consistent and faithful and coming by to just see what God has going on. And tonight we're doing part 1 and part 2 of a Carolina conversation. I always have a big smile on my face when I talk about it, because I get to partner with my friend Angela Oliphant, who is down in South Carolina. I am here in North Carolina. And we get together and we talk, because sometimes we have a topic, or I'll have a topic, or she'll have a topic, and we don't want to have to wait a whole week in order to finish it up, because it's a lot. And we have information that comes in from the village. I had villagers that sent me what their feelings were about the topic tonight, and we're going to read some of that information to you. And, it's just talking, let's talk. We're just going to be talking. And whenever Angie and I get together, and several other of my co-hosts, we never always know. Now, I'm going to warn you in the beginning, we don't always know where we're going to end up. I'll tell you that starting out. We may have a good start, and we may be going to the left, and somewhere in there we may make a turn and head to the right. But it's going to be okay, because whatever it is going to be uplifting, and it is going to be encouraging. And we are just glad that you're going to be here and be a part of it. So let me bring my co-host in tonight, and that's Miss Angela D. Oliphant. Hey, lady, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Got no reason to complain. And I tell you, we have an interesting topic tonight. And that topic is, how did I get here?
Yeah.
How did I get here? Angie and I had been talking about the things that play a role, have a heavy influence in either pushing us forward or sometimes holding us back. And we talked about a lot of different things, and we just realized this isn't what I planned.
Right.
This isn't where I thought I would be. I believe and I hope and I pray that I'm where God wants me and
Yeah.
I'm doing what He wants me to do. But does it really look like what I thought it was going to look like? And a lot of times that's it. We shake our heads and go, mm-mm. Where did this come from? Where does it come from? Because all things will work together for the good of those who love the Lord and are called according to His purpose. And we know that God always has plans for us.
Yeah.
But we just think sometimes it's gonna go this way. I heard a word. I got a prophetic word. Somebody spoke into my life. And that means, that I'm going to be healthy, wealthy, and wise in all things
Yes.
wonderful. And you be struggling, sister.
Yes.
You be struggling hard, and you're thinking, did I really hear that word? Is that because that's not looking like what I'm living for.
Mm-mm.
Just is not. It is not. So we're going to talk about some of those things. We sent a little survey out to the village to get us started. But Angie, what were some of your thoughts about that when we first started talking about it?
It just made me really like think why really am I here? Because we go through those. It started. I started looking at myself as being like in my 20s, in my 30s, and stuff, and looking and like, did things ever go the way that I thought that they would?
Mhm.
And I realized that it didn't. It was just like you have to go with the flow of what's going on, and sometimes we have to make the best of what has happened.
Mhm.
And it made me think about the way that we, like you had talked about before, about the way we think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it has a lot to do with our perception of a thing,
Uh-huh.
whether it's good, whether it's bad. Because I have learned to be like in a bad place, but then have good thoughts. And that took a while. And it took a while to be able to do that. But it just made me start reflecting on my life and asking, like, why am I here?
Yeah.
And why am I in this place? And I even had a meeting with the going to school. I had a meeting with a life coach that they set you up with and you talk to. And I was like, I'm the one talking, and I was listening to what I was saying, and then I was like, oh, I'm good. Because I realized I was like, oh, she was like, we're just gonna let you talk. And I was like, okay. But when I started speaking out of my mouth what I was here, I was like, oh. And I realized I'm in a different place.
Yeah.
My thinking, and because my thinking is different, it makes my environment different for me.
Yeah, yeah. As we evolve based on what's happening in our lives, as we change, and we have somebody, Francina. Actually, I'm going to read her information that she responded to, how she responded, and sometimes it is just the circumstances of life
Yes.
that will put you in another scenario. But if you go with God,
Yes.
if you are willing to follow His direction, if you are willing to continue to think that, this is my Father and He loves me and He has a plan for me. He told me that He had a plan for me. And if I just follow what He says, it's gonna all work together for my good. I may not see it at the moment because it's so different
Right.
than what I expected and what I anticipated. But that doesn't mean it's bad, and it doesn't mean that it's wrong. Good evening, Bernice. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're talking about how did I get here. And
Yes.
the first questions were, and you can respond if you choose. But the first question was, where did I think I would be at this point in my life? And where am I? Am I anywhere close to that? Am I anywhere near that? Um, I'm gonna ask you, Andrew, where did you think you would be? Let's say you were in your 20s, and somebody said, where do you want to be? Where do you think you're gonna be? What's the map that you have for your what's your road map?
I was thinking that I would be married, that by this time in my life that my kids would be grown, which they are. They're all grown and gone. And then I'd be traveling with my husband, and we'd be going different places and hanging out, because I had all the money that I needed, like saved up and all that good stuff. And to go into the empty nest thing, I was like, oh, I'm gonna have fun. We gonna travel. We gonna do this, and it's not like that, because I don't have a husband anymore. My kids are gone and they're grown, but it's like I had to kind of learn, okay, this is a little bit different, because I thought that I might be traveling. At one point I thought I might be traveling, like as far as like with ministry is concerned, because I thought everything was going in that direction, and then even that switched up. So I was like, now I got to regroup and rethink some things, because I wasn't thinking being on my own, like being single. And I have never been, I tell people I've never been like single, because I got married when I was 18. So, and then I was married for like 28 years. So I've never been like single. And now I'm 54 and single. So it's like it's a whole new thing, but I never thought that I would be here. Always thought, there'd be somebody else there. I'll be married. I'll be traveling. I wouldn't. I could work if I wanted to. If I didn't want to, I wouldn't have to, type deal. But I was banking on having money saved up by this time, so I could just travel and go places.
Do what you wanted to
do. What I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
But
I didn't have the. I don't know. Maybe I just thought, like Columbus thought the world was flat. Maybe I just thought that at a certain point the world was just going to end, and I wasn't going to have to think about it. Because I didn't have any great plans or anything like that. I listened to people, and they talk about their career goals and what they wanted in their career. And it's interesting to me that you are in banking now and you enjoy banking so much. And I was in banking for 9 years, and I hated every minute of it. But at that particular point in time in my life, it wasn't about a career, it was about a job.
Yeah.
I was a single mother, and I needed to put food on the table and a roof over our head. And so what I was thinking about was, where can I get a job and be able to pay my bills? So there are things that I didn't do in terms of financial planning and all of those kinds of things, or just have the thought process that said, I'm going to be here at this particular stage, of my life.
Right.
I married young, I divorced young, and it was just, make it day by day by day. And the opportunities came, and I took them. And when they didn't, I just, kept it moving.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed doing a lot of things that I've been able to do, but not a lot of it was by my plan at all.
Right.
It was just a more of a, God, what do you want me? What do you want me to do? And in that time, I remember those periods of just being, just, well, to be transparent and honest, not wanting to be here. Just, I was just, seemed like I was tired all the time, seems like I was frustrated all of the time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until in my 30s, which is where some people goals are, I won't say ending, but coming to fruition, by
Yeah.
30, by 35. And mine were just starting, because I was in a different space. I was in a different place, and it made a difference in how I did what I did.
Yeah.
You
Because
know,
I think with myself, it wasn't until when I turned 30. I remember when I turned 30, I wasn't like where I thought maybe that would be, but I was so excited about being 30. And then, but when I hit 50, I was like, I'm good. That's it. I was like, you just roll with it. It's like, okay, what's going to happen today, Lord? Because I
enjoy,
learned,
enjoy in the Lord.
yes, it's like, okay, God, what we going to do today? Because I can plan it out or I can think in my head, but things can switch at the drop of a dime. It just can change. And I learned to go with the change. Because
Yeah,
when I first started in banking, I didn't like it at all. But then as I moved to different positions, I was like, oh, okay, this will work. This will be okay. Because I didn't even think in my mind that I could work in banking because I was like, you're not smart enough. I would be like, you can't do that. But now I'm like, okay, yes, you can. You can do that. And you can have fun on this side of it. I didn't like the other side of it, but this side, I was like, okay, this side is okay.
I like the administrative side, but the
Yeah,
customer service side, I did not like at all.
me either.
And my happiest moments were at 5 minutes to 5 when I got to lock that door. You came
Yeah.
up to the back, and it's awful. And I apologize to anybody that I because it was bad of me, bad, bad, bad. But when it was time to close that door, I was like, "We'll be open tomorrow.
No.
Come back tomorrow." I just, I was not at home in it. I didn't like it. I didn't like it, and that's the
Yeah.
first search that I think I actually went on. Was coming out of banking. Let me see what Bernice
Wow.
has to say. And hey there, Victoria and Lynn. Good to have you. Glad you guys stopped by. Bernie said my plan in life was to chase the American dream. Great job, home ownership. However, poor money management skills during my lifetime helped me not to achieve the home ownership role yet. I like that yet, Bernice.
Yes.
I like that
I'm right there with you. Yeah.
yet. Yet. That is so true, so true. And I think for many of us, if we had had a better understanding of
Yes.
money management, a lot of things would have been different and would have gone a different way. Hey, Josie, good evening to you. Thank you for joining us tonight. I want to read from one of our villagers. And what I'm going to do is, Angie, I'm just going to read exactly how they responded. And if there's something that you want to jump in, or listeners and viewers, if there's something that you want to jump in and add, feel free to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to go kind of quickly so that we can uh, give our own comments on what she said.
Okay.
And the question one, what did you think you would be doing at this point in your life? And she said, I thought I'd be married for 20 plus years, at least two children, living in some eastern state above the Mason Dixon line, and a corporate executive. She had a plan.
Yes, she had a plan.
She had a plan. Question two, what are you doing now? Single, never married, one adult son, living in North Carolina for at least 35 years, and working as a corporate leader. That corporate part did
Yeah.
come to pass for her. She said, I'm a leader at my church and in my immediate family. And I wonder how many people can say that what they are doing outside of the home bleeds into the home,
Wow. Yeah.
in terms of that. And she is a good She does a lot of leadership training and things like that. But it's interesting. And she says she's a leader in her family as
Right.
well. How did you get there? Becoming a teen mother, graduating college, having a life changing spiritual awakening at 24 years old. Hallelujah.
Yes.
Beginning a banking career 27 years ago. What's with all these bankers?
Bankers.
Accounting, banking, Carmen's in banking. Relocating to the Triangle area of North Carolina, supporting my brother through his health challenges led to my own health journey.
Yeah.
Um, and then I ask choose which area had the greatest impact, or what was the driving force that has either pushed you forward or held you back. And the responses were based on family dynamics, cultural background, social interaction, education, and environment. And
Yeah.
hers covered two areas. She said cultural background. Early in her life, I thought my cultural background was a deficit and something to downplay because it made me different than my friends. I think Carmen's originally from the Caribbean. Later in life, I realized that my cultural background has broadened my perspective and increased my personal value.
Mm.
And education was the thing that pushed her forward and created opportunities for her. Recently, she said, at 50 years of age, I've come to a place of acceptance with who I am and
Yeah.
my choices in life. It doesn't mean that I don't have goals I continue to work on, but I'm pleased with who I am, and it's much easier to celebrate myself.
Yes.
I used to look at my life with regret and sometimes embarrassment. Now, more often than not, I look at my life with a healthy pride and gratefulness. Took me a long time to get here, but it feels good now that I am here. Um, I I wonder how many of us out there um, are kind of in a place uh, where Carmen has been, or we may still be there now when things don't happen. And I think it's a societal thing sometimes, because there's an expectation that people have that
Yes.
you'll be married by a certain time, you'll have children by a certain time, you'll have this, you'll have that, one thing or the other. And I don't know whether it is an age thing. And village and listeners and viewers, you can kind of put it quickly in the comment section in terms of how you feel. I I have my own interpretation, because I don't think it is necessarily. Some people say it comes with age and maturity and wisdom. I have found some folks
Yes.
who are older,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just older.
Yes. They
They're
are.
not any wiser.
They're not wiser, but they are older.
They are older, but they have not garnered any wisdom for their journey. Um, and they are their uh, condemnation is so strong.
Right.
They're in a box that they can't
Get
get.
out of.
Um, what do you all think? What do you all think? Do you think it is? When do you think? When do you think you hit that stride of being okay with me?
I think, like we were talking about earlier, I think it just comes from within. It comes to a place where it's, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's like a light bulb goes on, and you're saying, you realize, I don't have to live for these other people.
Right.
It's like I don't have to do what they dictate to me that I have to do. And I can be my own person because that's who God created me to be. And He
Mhm.
didn't create me to be cookie cutter and be like everybody else and do everything like everybody else did. Because even growing up, I started realizing a lot of things that people are doing now, I was doing when I was a teenager, like the nail polish and the different colors and all in the way they dressed and the different things. I was doing that when I was like 15, but people were like, "Oh, you're weird." But now it's the thing to do. And I was like,
Right.
I could have been doing it. But it's like at that age, I was thinking, oh well, you got to be like everybody else. But the way that I did my hair, the way I dressed, everything, people are doing that now, and I was back doing it back then, and it made me realize, hey, it's like you have that thing on the inside, and I don't know when it clicks, because like you were saying, I know people who are older who are not confident, who are in their shell, who don't even, they still do foolish stuff, and you'd be thinking, man, you this age, you should know better by now. But
Right.
some of them don't, and it's like a light bulb that goes on in you, and I think that it can be turned on at any time. But I think that we have to be in the environment of being accepting of who we are.
Right.
And when we know who we are, and really when we know whose we are, it's like things start changing. And that can happen at a younger age or older. You
Yeah.
don't have to wait till you like 50 or wait till you're 40. It can happen when you're growing up. If it's like, I believe that if it's poured into you, but a lot of people still don't grab it, because they two people can be in the same environment, and one come out great, and the other one be like, "Oh, that was horrible."
Yeah. We used to talk all the time when people would ask me about my sister. Um, we were so incredibly different, and she would tell me, you could never survive in the streets, because I couldn't. I would meet friends of hers, and she'd say she's not like me. you know, Now over time, I must admit I did pick up some of those traits. they did not they did not stay with me. Praise the Lord and thank you, Jesus. But I think that we all uh, go through that point and that stage of understanding that the scripture about being fearfully and wonderfully made takes on a different meaning
Yeah,
for us, because I think that is a point where you begin um, to say to yourself, okay, I am unique to me.
yes,
I
yes,
am unique to my journey. I am unique to what it is God put me in the earth to do. And I don't know who it was. Somebody said at one point, especially when they were talking about comparison and trying to be like somebody else, which some people work so hard to do, and social media has just contributed to that in not such a good way.
right,
But if you're trying to be just like I am, one of us is unnecessary,
right,
because each of us should bring our own unique something into the equation. Dr. Paula, thank you for being with us. Dr. Paula said you were innovative. You, you didn't know, you didn't even know what that word was back then, but you,
No, I did not.
your colored tales, you were being innovative, girl. You could have started a trend back then, and we could have
Oh,
all been borrowing money from you and
yes, I
things.
would be lending it out.
Let me see right here what Trelyn has to say, because hers was interesting as well.
Yes,
What did you think you would be doing at this point in your life? She said, I thought I would be married with children and grandchildren. What are you doing now? She's teaching and she's creating. Now, for all of the other questions that were asked, how did you get here? Was it family dynamics, cultural background, and all of those other things? Trelyn had the same answer, and that answer was God.
God, yeah,
God. Whatever was happening in her life, whatever was going on in her life, it was God that was making the difference.
Yes.
And I know that that is underlying for many of us. Um, once once we make that connection with Him, things change, and sometimes it's not an easy change because everybody doesn't understand.
Right.
um, I think about, I don't know whether Lynn is still on or not, but I think about the fact that we were in church. We went to church. I don't ever remember a time in my life that I didn't go to church, except when my marriage was failing and my husband didn't go, and I gradually did not go either. But as soon as that situation was over, I immediately was um, back into church. Um, Lynn Lynn, Lynn had a relationship with God. I think when she went to a conference, she must have been about 16 years old. Um, and I was not kind to her at all because I did not understand relationship.
Mm.
So while it is easy, like Trelyn can say, God, it was God, it was God, it was God, it was God. I couldn't say that. I had church,
Yeah.
knew how to go to church. I knew how to sing in the choir until people got saved. I knew how to do all of those things, but I did not have that vertical relationship. And thanks to Lynn, when she came here, she took me to see Daryl Coley. And I never will forget that he made the statement that religion will let you do anything you want to do, but relationship will
Will
not.
not.
And that's when
Uh,
I had that first influencer to
yes.
say, you got to have a relationship with God. You have got to have a vertical relationship. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired,
Right. Right. If you are.
do something different. If you want to see it differently, then that's what you got to do. That's what
Yes,
you got to do.
you do.
Um, let's see, because I got something that I want to add to this next one. Angie, why don't you go ahead and read Francina's for us?
Okay. With Francina, her answer to the first question, what did you think you would be doing at this point in your life? And Francina said, enjoying retirement, spending time with family, and traveling. What is she doing now? She's been an advocate for cancer patients, sharing her story, involved with different organizations, educating, enlightening, and empowering those she speaks with. So look at Francina. And
Mhm.
number three is, how did you get here? And she said, after being diagnosed with breast cancer, the passing of my husband while still in treatment changed her whole life. That's powerful, and that will happen.
Mhm.
Um, number four was to choose the areas that had the greatest impact, and she said some of the greatest aspects is her family, and she's become close with her family. They're closer together. They started taking family vacations once a year, being involved with different organizations, support groups, sharing her story, whether interviews, newsletters, TV, to bring awareness, education, to empower, talking with her lawmaker on the importance of people having access to health care and making cancer a national priority. It seems like everything shifted with
Yeah.
her with the diagnosis. And
Mhm.
then she said with the family dynamics, again, it's spending time with her family. She spends more time with her family now, and they make it a point to take vacations together. She's being involved with different organizations, so she's still reaching out so that the community is making a difference. And she's sharing her story, always acknowledging her heavenly Father who healed her, and then having people in her circle, divine connection, who they're supportive, encouraging. They share their ups and downs. They're non-judgmental, but will not allow her to waddle in self-pity. And they are trustworthy, dependable, supportive, praying on her behalf, and they keep her pressing forward and feeling appreciated, loved, and blessed.
That is a how did I get here kind of story. I'm telling
Yeah.
you. Um, Francina, I've known for many years, and there is no way that the Francina of today would be the Francina of today had she not gone through a cancer journey.
Wow.
Uh, I mean, she has taken on an advocacy role with that, like something I've never seen. And I look up sometimes, and I remember turning on the TV and thinking that's Governor Cooper, and then I went, "Ooh, and that's Francina doing up there with the governor." But she doesn't miss an opportunity to tell someone how important mammograms are, how important your health is, and the things that you need to do with that. Why
Yeah.
do I bring that out? I bring that out because a redirection is not always a bad thing.
True.
Some people will look at cancer and think it is the end of the world. It is a difficult journey, and I don't care what kind of cancer you have, whether it is cervical cancer like I had, whether it's breast cancer like Francina had, bone cancer, whatever it happens to be. It is tough. It is hard on you. It is hard on your body. It is hard on your family.
Yeah.
It's tough. It is a tough journey. But Francina is the example that says, but life is not over
Right.
because you had that journey. Turn that journey into something that is positive. When you hear that scripture that says, all things,
All things.
all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord
Yes.
and are called according to his purpose.
Purpose. Yes.
You can put Francina's picture and her name right next to that. Because I'm telling you, when she was dealing with her husband who was in the hospital in the midst of her treatment and
Yes.
all of the things that were going on, it would have been very easy to fold up and say, "Not today. I'm just not doing. I'm not visiting anybody today. I'm not talking to anybody today. I'm not doing that." But she has continued. She's continued not just the fight for herself, but the fight for other people. And she had a strong circle. She
Yes.
had a strong circle. And let me tell you this: a circle doesn't have to be a whole lot of people.
It does not. It does
It
not.
has to be a few of the right people.
Yes. We're like, yes. Oh,
You got
yes.
a couple of the right people,
Yes.
you can make it. You got a couple of people who understand and who know you well enough to know when things are not good and when they are good, and can stand in the gap with you and can pray for you. And
Right.
I had two very, very dear friends that I've had since my banking days, and that was a long time ago. One is in Florida and one's in California. And I said, God split this trio up for a reason to make sure we would stay out of trouble. But they have been lifelines
Yeah.
for me. And I think that everybody needs to have that kind of circle. if you don't, I pray that you find it. I pray that you find somebody who's not going to let you have a pity party. My
Right.
girlfriend in California would let me whine. She'd let me whine, and then it was like, "You done? Okay, we spent enough time on that. We're through with that. Let's pray. Get this thing in order, because we're not going to stay here all day. We're not going to stay here whining.
Oh,
We're not going to cry. We're not going to do any of those things." And even today, there was an incident, and I was talking to someone, and we just had to sit back and say, you know what? Either he's God or he's not.
right. Right.
And if I believe that he is, it's just like in Lynn's piece. Every question that she answered with him.
Yes.
She answered by saying, God, it was
God.
God. And I know that she has had a journey with health challenges, and I see the work that she is creating. Yes, she
Mhm.
is creating. She is creating a movie. She is writing books after book after book for young people to encourage them so that they will be stronger, so that they will not have the feelings of inadequacy that
Right.
a lot of us grew up with. A lot of us grew up with that, but we don't have to.
Yes. We don't have to stay there.
We don't have to stay there. We don't have to
It's-
stay there. Now, this is one of my favorites. And this is from Pastor Kelvin. Pastor Kelvin is my buddy.
yes.
Question number one: what did you think you would be doing at this point in your life? I'm doing exactly what I thought I'd be doing.
Yep.
Didn't get that from a lot of people. But Pastor Kelvin said, I'm doing exactly what I thought I'd be doing. Perhaps not on the level of what I thought, but exactly what I thought.
Yes.
And the second part of that, so what are you doing now? He said, I'm leading my house. I'm a proud husband and father, all while pastoring an amazing church. How did you get here? Following the divinely orchestrated plan of God.
Yes.
I would not have chosen the path I took. How many people can say that? I
Right.
would not. I would not have chosen
The
this path.
path. Right.
And I don't know, Dr. Paula, would you have chosen the path you're on today? Bernice, would you? How about you, Victoria? Lynn, would you have chosen to be right where you are?
I was like, I wouldn't have.
You know,
I, I would not be.
I didn't see this for me. I didn't
Oh,
see this to me, for
wow.
me. And when somebody asked me even the other day, well, how did you get into broadcasting? And this deep, profound response. Because somebody asked me.
Yeah.
They said, I'm getting ready to have this network. I'd like for you to have a program. Would you do that? Yeah, I do.
I'll do that.
Yeah, I'll do that. Wasn't a lot of thought until after. And God, for me, it's a domino effect. He will
Yeah.
lay out something for me step by step by step by step. And I'll get to the place where I say, okay, well, that looks pretty good. And then something will come that will stop me. It
Yeah.
will, it will cause me to put the brakes on. When she asked me about it, I said, oh, okay. And I thought, well, what am I going to call it? Said, when life speaks, you speak life. Oh, good. Write that down. Told me something else. Oh, good. Write that down. So I had all of that. Turn down the volume of life. These things that
Yes.
be in the very beginning. Oh, God, that's good. I like that. I like that. That got all of that written down, and then I heard that whisper that said, "Where are you gonna find a guest? Who are you gonna invite on your show? What are you gonna talk about?" And I thought, oh. maybe I stepped out there a little too soon. Maybe this wasn't what I was
Yeah,
trying to do at all.
maybe need a little bit more detail.
Hello. What is that little book? God, it's me, Margaret.
Yeah. Are you there, God?
Are you there? Did you drop me off? What's happening? But when it is him, if you just allow him to guide you, everything will
Yes,
fall into
it will.
place, and it will all work together for your good. It will be there, and it will be that. Bernice said she wouldn't have chosen the path that she was on. How about some of the rest of it? Is this what you
I know.
saw for your life? Is
Dr.
this where
Paula
you
said
thought you
no.
would be? I will say no. Uh-uh. Mm-mm. Thinking about it, I would say no. Yeah, a lot of us would say no. A lot of us say no. And a lot of us are where we are um, because God has guided us to this place. We look at it that way. But what we have to understand is when He put us in the earth, He already had the plan.
Yes.
He already had the plan. He already had the process. And He already had the purpose. Now, He told me that the other day about the plan, the process, and the purpose. And
Yeah.
I'm telling you today, I'm giving you an advance notice that that's going to be something. I
Yeah.
don't know whether it's going to be an 8 at 8 or a book or a plaque for your wall or I don't know what it's going to be, but it has been with me ever since he said it. So
Yes.
there's something to that plan, there's something to that process, and something to that purpose. Paul says Romans 8 and 28, which is what is Romans 8:28, Angie? You know what it is off the top of your
Off the top of my head, no. I'm
head?
sure my sister would know.
Paul put some words behind that 8:28.
I would have to look that up really quick here because I no.
Let's see what Bernie said. Bernie said, I find the key to dealing with or traveling on our path is to always remain grateful. Absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Bernice.
Absolutely.
That is so true. I think I have
Oh,
the
Romans
ones.
8:28. It says, and we know that all things work together.
Yes, we do. Thank you, Paula. Dr. Paula put us right where we needed to be, where we needed to be. Look, guys, we have so much more to talk about with this, and we're going to finish up tomorrow.
Yes.
Angie's Whole and Beautiful is on at 7 p.m. tomorrow, and I want you to come back, and I want you to come back and have some comments and interact with us tomorrow as we continue the discussion on how did I get here. And
Sure.
it's an important one to do some self discovery on and just kind of dig a little deeper
Yeah.
because I see so many people, and I know a lot of you do as well, and you have friends as well that are just in such a stuck place, and they're just in a place where because things didn't go the way that they thought they would go, and they're just
Yeah.
they've given up.
Yes. I was
A
about
lot
to
of
say
times they've just given
that.
up. And you don't have to. You don't have to give up. You don't have to stop. You don't have to. When I looked at the major things in my life, honorary doctorate of divinity, the books that I have written from the first one to now, which is five. I think I have the sixth one coming out this year. The plays that I have written, all of those things that I have done, I did after I turned 50 years old.
Yes. And when I read that concerning you, it encouraged me.
After. I turned 50 years old. So don't let anybody tell you you're too young, and don't let anybody tell you you're too old. What you have to do is be in tune and attuned to the voice of God.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
when you are, he will show you exactly what he wants you to do. And I get so tickled when I look back at things and think that was God. That was nobody but God. He put that person in my path. He put that word in me. Yes, Bernice says, don't live in regret. Do
Right.
not live in regret. Whatever happens, even if it's not the mountaintop experience that you,
Right.
even if you're walking through the valley, he's going with you.
Yes, he
He's going
is.
with you. He's telling you exactly, we're gonna go over here. No, I know that you thought. I know what you thought. We're not doing that.
Right.
Okay, going to be it. And the one experience I had with that, when I thought things were going to go a particular way and they didn't, and I kept asking God, what happened? Because I thought I asked for your permission. I thought I asked for your guidance in this. And he said, if I had allowed you to do that, you would have gone in a direction that I didn't want you to go.
Wow.
God knows best.
Yes, he does. Yes,
He
he
knows
does.
why you're here. He knows how he is going to use every unique gift and talent that you have. Um, and I want to say one thing real quick, and then we're gonna get off this line.
Okay.
Children, your children, your children, they're gonna look around one day and say, I didn't know I was gonna be here.
Right.
I didn't know this was gonna happen in my life. Watch your children.
Yeah.
Watch your children.
Watch your
See
children.
the things that they are interested in,
Yeah.
because you hear it all the time. My mother used to tell me, "Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up." But now I'm a talk show host.
Yeah.
Or I was always jumping off the furniture, and now I have a gold medal in gymnastics.
Yes. Yes.
Let's not be so quick all the time to shut them down.
Right.
Look for ways that you can encourage them in their uniqueness as
Yes.
well as what
Yes.
you wanted somebody to do for you. Okay? That's
Yes.
all we got for tonight. Look, come on back tomorrow at 7 p.m. Things are going to look a little bit different because Angie's going to start things off with her whole and beautiful nation. And she has some information from them on this topic of how did I get here? You all coming back? I know you are. You don't even have to answer because we're gonna be looking for you. You're
Yes, we will.
gonna be right here. Angie, you got any closing statements for tonight?
The only thing that I have, and I keep hearing it, and I heard it earlier when we were talking, was we don't have to stay in the state that we're in. It's the song the Father wants to put you back together again. It's like you ain't got to stay in that state. You
That's
can be whatever He has called you to be. All you got to do is tap in.
tap in.
Tap
Tap
in.
in. I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, that's it for part one of Carolina Conversation. Come on back tomorrow for part two. In the
Yeah.
meantime, you have an absolutely wonderful, restful, peaceful night tonight. And remember, when you come back, you be ready to receive so that when life speaks, you'll speak life. Good night, everybody.